up next for me is a fragrance that some would consider would be a fall or even a winter or dark, maybe darker. But this fragrance, when it came out, there was a lot of hype on it. As much, some of the bigger houses, there's a lot of hype because they want to sell their product. I get it. I always wait, and I mean for everything. If anything comes out, if a new car comes out, I wait. I want to see how it performs and if there's any complaints. And this was one of them. But when I smelt it, I was completely impressed with it. I got a little sample, and then that was it for me. I had to buy it. This thing is just so awesome. It is also a unisex men and women's fragrance. This is Tom Ford Lost Cherry. Lost Cherry is fruity, it's sweet, there's almond, there's obviously cherry in there, tonka bean again, vanilla again, there's cinnamon, some sandalwood, and then a hint of patchouli. I do like patchouli in some of the fragrances of Tom Ford. This here, when you smell this, I mean, it's beautiful. It's very sweet, don't get me wrong. It's not something you want to overpower with, but it dries down beautiful. It dries down a little more mellow than the sweetness that initially comes on your skin. You definitely pick up the cherry, but you pick up that tonka bean right away in here. It dries down to almost to the patchouli on my skin, and it has excellent longevity. This little bottle here is only a 50 ml, but I'll tell you what, man, a couple sprays of this, and 8 hours later, I can still smell it. It's absolutely perfect.
This I'm not too familiar with. I may have smelled it at the Tom Ford counter at Saks once or twice. Never worn it. It smells like a cherry dessert. I mean, lots of cherry off the top. You know what it reminds me of is cherry pie filling. There's some vanilla undertones in there.
It is don't let it shock you when you first spray it. You're going to get that sweetness out of it, and that's its name, Lost Cherry. But it does dry down beautifully, and it mellows itself out from the sweetness, and it really, really comes into a nice, mature scent, if you will. It's excellent. Again, it's another Tom Ford. It is unisex, but men absolutely no problem wearing this. This is an excellent fragrance, in my opinion.
Next on the list, I have the most boring of all my selections. It's on everybody's list. It's overhyped. It's not as good as people say it is. It is overpriced. It's wildly overpriced, let me just say that. But it's definitely a ball sprayer. Shout out to Kubanos. And it definitely gets compliments, and it's a people pleaser, so I thought I'd have at least one piece of shit people pleaser on my list. And it is none other than Roja Dove's Elysium Parfum Cologne. As you know, or you don't know, this comes in 2 concentrations. You can get it in this cool-ass Swagalicious bottle at 100 mils, or you can get a 50 mil for almost twice the price and get the Parfum Edition. Now, I do have the Parfum Edition, and I layer both of these, but I get absolute shit performance out of both. So, after about 20 sprays of this, it kind of lasts all day. It lasts a little better than Aventus does on me. It's very ethereal. It's not really a punch-you-in-the-face fragrance. It's very light. It's very inoffensive. It's impossible to overspray this. I do like to spray the Parfum on and then spray this over it, because the Parfum, although it smells better and it's more concentrated, it has almost zero projection whatsoever. This bottle is balls, though. I love the bottle. And a lot of people say, well, you're not buying it for the bottle, you're buying it for the juice, but I'm buying it for the bottle as well, because I'm just one of those bougie assholes. So this is displayed prominently on my perfume shelf. I didn't say much about the fragrance. You guys already know about it. It was released a couple years ago in 2017. Roja Dove's the perfumer. Top notes are lemon, bergamot, grapefruit, thyme, lime, artemisia, blah, blah, blah. You can't smell any of that in it. It smells like a generic citrus. It's got a little bit of vanilla in the dry down. It says leather and ambergris. I call bullshit on that. Nagramatha, who the hell knows what that is? Vetiver, I definitely get vetiver in this.
Yeah, you definitely.
And I wouldn't classify it as strictly a vetiver fragrance, because I think that the vetiver and the citruses play an equal part. But vetiver throughout. And, it's a great fragrance. I'm kind of talking shit about it, but it is a good fragrance. It's just performance is for absolute shit. And I think that they could have done a better job with that.
I've had a couple samples of this. You were nice enough to provide me with, actually, both of them. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I do a lot of fragrance shopping and swapping online, Facebook. Shout out to Fragrance Swap on Facebook and a lot of the guys that help me out with pricing and bottles. I'll tell you what, Anthony goes through Alan Burgess over at Beverly Hills Perfumery a lot, which I think is where this one came from.
That is where that came from. Shout out to Alan.
I tell you what, great guy, good prices, check him out. But this is something that is definitely on my hit list as much as it's been talked about. Over the fall, bottles were crazy. Now I can't find one. I definitely am going to go to Alan to get this. You have to have this in your collection. This is gorgeous. The bottle itself is just beautiful. It's very heavy weight. The cap is very substantial. I mean, and the scent itself is, I mean, the presentation is very good on this. Roja, I had no idea about this entire line until hooking up with Magneto. Just excellent, excellent fragrance. Very nice on that one.
For those of you who don't know, like I said earlier, it does come in 2 editions, but there's a 3rd edition. I think it may be a Middle Eastern exclusive, and I do plan on picking it up just because, I like the bottle. The Parfum edition comes in a regular Roja bottle. It's just, it's nice, but I find this much more impressive. But there is a version of this in the Parfum that has a black crystal cap. So it's not the Parfum Cologne edition, it's the Parfum Extrait edition. And it's the same one that comes in the small bottle, but it's in this large blue bottle and it has a different cap. So, I'll probably grab that at some point if I have somebody that's willing to pick it up for me overseas. But that's that.
Excellent. My next fragrance is going to be one that was unusual for me because we were in, I think, we were in Boston. I think we might have been at Saks. I'm not sure. But smelt this fragrance at the counter, sprayed it, and was so impressed with it. I bought it instantly. It was just an unbelievable, for me, summer fragrance. It is Blue Mediterraneo Elencia di Capri from Acqua de Parma. This fragrance, for me, I mean, it hit me right away. I absolutely adore this fragrance. It is citrus, there's bergamot in there, there's some musk, there's cardamom, there's orange and Sicilian mandarin, which is what you talked about earlier in one of your fragrances. A lot of the same fragrances are in this Italian house, if you will. This is just gorgeous. The citrus in this hits you, and it is just, it's beautiful. There's citrus and spice, and the bergamot makes it a little more masculine. This is listed as a fragrance that could be for men or women. It is just unbelievable. The complaint I have, and it's just a horrible, horrible downfall in my opinion, it doesn't last whatsoever. I'm lucky if I get an hour or 2 out of this, and it's a shame because this fragrance deserves to stay on your skin all day. It dries down even better than the initial spraying of it. It evens out in the citrus. You get the darker notes in there that pop through. You can definitely smell the bergamot. The musk, there's some muskiness in there. I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful fragrance.
So this one, these bottles are new, or they're newer. These used to be in a different bottle when they first launched. And I actually used to own this fragrance, and I believe I gave this fragrance to Dan. Shout out to Dan if you're out there. It was one of my favorite fragrances. I just got sick of it. I wore the shit out of it. Very good for the summer. I'm really sad to hear that the performance has gone to shit on these because originally I got lots of compliments on that fragrance. It was 15 years ago, but I got lots of compliments on it. It lasted all day long. It was really a powerful fragrance for a citrus. And I know you haven't been happy with this, I guess, reformulation. We're going to assume it was reformulated at some point. But blood orange, Arancia, it really does smell like a freshly cut blood orange, along with some other light woods and stuff.
And it's deeper. The
really
citrus,
nice.
The citrus is deeper. It's not, when I say citrus and you cut open an orange or grapefruit, you get that sweetness. This is a deeper citrus. It's really unusual. Again, I mean, for the price you pay, I expected a little more longevity out of it, but it's still a fragrance I probably would buy again. I love it that much.
You know, I just noticed that this is an eau de toilette. It's 5 ounces. I'm going to guarantee you that my bottle was not 5 ounces. I think it was a 3.4 if there ever was such a thing on that fragrance. So I don't know if they watered this down when they went to the larger bottles, but if so, that's a shame. It happens to the best of fragrances, unfortunately. It seems to be a growing trend.
We know that.
So next on my list, another unusual fragrance, and probably gonna get some. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. I forgot to say that.
Oh yeah,
So
if you like us, make some comments and give us your suggestions of summer scents as well. Don't be making comments that are derogatory, because I don't want to hear your bullshit. But if you've got some good, productive comments, by all means, lay them out there.
And we're just two slobs that, like, you know, own some fragrances, and I watch fragrance reviews. I think you really don't watch that many of them. You got these guys out there that are soliciting free bottles and payments and all kinds of shit to give you fake opinions. I'm just gonna give you the good and the bad. If I own a bottle, obviously it's because I like it. Nobody gave me any of this stuff.
Right.
But also, I'm gonna have some opinions that might be contrary to yours. So this next one.
Well, that's good. It's America. You have a right for that.
True. This next fragrance, probably down in the comments if you disagree, you can leave what you think about it. I've never seen this on a summer list before. It is from a house that uses an extraordinary oil concentration, up to 42% oil, in their creations. Some of you probably already know what house that is. But this I definitely don't think is going to be on anybody's summer list, but it is on mine, and it is Battito di Ali. This has been on my hit list. This came out in 2010, and it's been on my hit list, I think, since 2010. Another reviewer reviewed it, and I got a small sample of it, and it really was beautiful, but unusual, and I never wanted to pay the price for it. Now, you've seen some of the other stuff I own, and you're probably saying to yourself, well, the price point on this is in the ballpark of the other fragrances that you own. It is in the ballpark, but in my opinion, the presentation on these is shit. You've got a square bottle. Okay, fine. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Heavy square bottle. Nothing interesting about it. You've got this weird cap, this weird tall cap. Good sprayer. Nothing really wrong with that. You can unscrew this and decant it. I appreciate that. But my real complaint is the whole presentation. It looks very cheap. You got this tin or aluminum cap. Garbage. So that's what kept me from buying it, but that's neither here nor there. The fragrance. This stuff is supposedly a gourmand, and just looking at Fragrantica, it says that the fragrances notes are African orange flower, vanilla, myrrh, coconut, and cacao. So you think vanilla, coconut, cacao, that's a gourmand all day, right? Yes and no. When this dries down on my skin, I only get like a little bit of sweetness. It's very dry and airy, which is different than most gourmands are sweet and cloying, which is what I don't like about gourmands.
This is very nice.
Already, it gets beautiful right out of the bottle, and it's one of the few fragrance houses that when you spray this on your skin, it's even better than, you know, spraying it on a blotter or spraying it on clothes. On my skin, all of their fragrances just develop. That'll last more than 24 hours on skin. I don't even know if that's like natural or there's some kind of crazy like carcinogen that's making that happen. I'm scared to find out.
Usually with something with a heavy concentration of oil like that, they're sacrificing something somewhere else. But
Yeah,
I don't smell that here.
Yeah, you're sacrificing projection normally, but
Right.
this has a nice tight scent bubble. It's not beast mode. This isn't Amouage, the blue beast in the blue bottle. It's not going to choke people out across the room. But people, you're out to dinner with people, they can smell this at the table. I mean, this
is very nice. It's pleasant.
It's absolutely gorgeous, and it, again, going along with my other picks, it's very unusual. The fragrances, if you look at the fragrance, you're going to think maybe this is a fall scent, it's a winter scent. It's not. That orange blossom is very floral. It almost blooms on your skin. It's light, it's airy, it's dry. I actually just picked up this bottle on a sale that Oswald, New York had. And geez, I waited 9 years to pick it up. I just wish I pulled the trigger on it immediately. It was kind of stupid for me to wait this amount of time, because this is actually something that I'm going to pull for quite frequently. If you do buy a full bottle at retail, I think they retail for something like $280 or something in that range. I think I paid $205 for this. They come with the screw-off cap so you can decant, and they also come with an empty roller bottle, so you can fill a roller bottle and take it with you, which is fantastic for travel.
That's nice for the oil. You can roll it on your skin.
Yeah, you just roll it on your skin and you're good to go.
That's excellent.
I haven't checked out the rest of the range. Josie at Oswald, shout out to Josie. She sent me a few nice samples. I got, well, now I can't remember, but one of the ones she sent me was their exclusive Moringa, which is a lemon meringue type of fragrance. Was very, very good. I used the sample for a day, and I got similar performance out of that one. I don't think there's anything on the market that's even remotely close to this that I've come across. If there's something that's similar to this, feel free to put it down in the notes. I haven't come across anything yet. It's a very weird, unusual fragrance.
Yeah,
I don't know how people
nice.
are going to feel about it,
Yeah.
but it's something that I really enjoy wearing, and I just end up like sniffing myself all day.
That's the first I've actually smelt it or even heard about it. Thank you. That's excellent. Very nice. That may come up be on the hit list going forward.
I'm really surprised because I didn't think you would like this one because it's so much floral, but looking at the ones you've chosen, you did like Soleil Blanc, which also is very floral as well. So
Yeah, it's funny because some of these that do tend to have florals in them, they dry down nice.
Yeah,
they dry out
absolutely.
beautifully on the skin, at least on mine. I'll speak for myself, but I don't want, I mean, there's a couple rose fragrances that we both could have bought. Labo has a beautiful rose fragrance. You mentioned
Lyric.
Lyric.
I forgot to bring the Lyric bottle. That probably would have made it on the list.
Yeah, I mean, those have rose in. They're not feminine per se because of the way they dry down on my skin. I'll speak for myself. And it really carries. I mean, they're really good scents. They didn't make the list. It doesn't, for no good reason or one or another, but